Hey, today I'm talking about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This is the brand new D&D movie and it's pretty good. The basic premise is there's some bad stuff going on and a group of misfits need to band together to save the day. It's the same as any D&D campaign. And it's a lot of fun. The jokes are really good. The movie's filled to the brim with so many references. It takes its subject matter seriously, but also has fun with it, but doesn't make fun of it. Even if you aren't really into D&D or anything like that, it's still a movie you can definitely enjoy. It's just like a fun fantasy film. It's definitely a heist film too. So like if you're a fan of that genre, it's worth checking out. Now, I do want to complain though, because I'm a nerd, so like I will say though before I complain, because I'm going to complain a lot, that I did like this movie a lot. It's a quite liked, so for me that's basically a 4 out of 5. I would totally recommend it, but there's some things that bother me. First off, I've played D&D on and off for over a decade, and so like there's aspects of that kind of bother me. So like a lot of the fight scenes has basically just like one character being a real badass and wiping out all of the bad guys or one big bad guy, while everyone else just kind of stands around and watches or does something else that's silly. And like it makes sense during one scene where Michelle Rodriguez is just like kicking ass and Chris Pine is being silly, but like I don't know, it's not very true to D&D. In D&D, everyone's fighting everything, just chipping away at the bad guys. Like yeah, there'll be some really cool sweet moments that happen, but most of the time it's just like slowly chipping away at stuff. So like it makes more sense for it to be like a group effort, and that really doesn't happen in this movie. There are some group effort things, like for a decent amount of the big final battle there is, but once they kind of do a certain thing, then it's just one character takes over and finishes it off, and I'm like, I didn't care for that. The part that got me the most though is that the men have character arcs, but the women don't really. So like Chris Pine's character arc is he needs to accept that it's his fault that his wife died. That's a real good character arc. The guy from Detective Pikachu, his arc is all about building confidence. Another solid arc. Michelle Rodriguez's character arc is, well, for one scene, it was accepting that her husband has moved on, but that's just one scene. She really doesn't have any other arc. The daughter kind of has more so of an arc because she has to decide which father figure in her life is telling the truth and which one's lying, but it's kind of more just her reacting to what those guys do, not really her doing anything. But the one that gets me the most is Sophia Lillis, because I like her a lot. She was amazing in I Am Not Okay With This, but really she's been great in everything I've seen her in. Like she was in a Nancy Drew movie that was terrible, but she was amazing. Like she has so much charm, and she does practically nothing in this movie. Her story arc is letting the nerdy guy hit on her. That's about it. All she really does in this movie is just be the shapeshifter, and that's it. And that's so disappointing. Cause like, I feel like besides the fact that it feels a bit misogynistic that the women don't have any character arcs, it feels very not D&D because like it's a group effort. It's an ensemble. That's what D&D is. It's a group of nerds coming together to do silly things together. And like, all of them need something to do because they're all characters. They're all a person experiencing this thing together, so they all need to go on growth stuff. Like there were literally so many scenes where they split the party, and it's just like one scene where you just like watching one person do a whole bunch of things. I'm like, that's not D&D. D&D, you always stick together unless something really bad happens. That's very much so the exception to the rule. So yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. But again, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy this movie. It's a quite liked. It's basically a 4 out of 5. This is me kind of just frustrated because like I had really high hopes for this movie. I wanted to love this movie so much, and I did like it. I did enjoy it. It's just I wanted it to be a home run, and it's kind of more just like a double. So yeah, it's good, just not as good as I wanted it to be. And now for my ranking. I put this at number 8 in the quite like section, and this is out of a total of 14 new movies so far this year.